Time? You talk to me of time? I have more time to contemplate my betrayal than your tiny lifetime, you discompassionate dog. The thieves. It has come to that time already then? But you will hear me. At last. Listen well, for I swear to you my innocence. Malik was the one, so convincing, insidious. He said that the Lord was an illusion, that his Mal was the only truth. That only the worship of Grailstone was right, that it lifted the Byzantines to greatness out of this hell. In the stronghold he prepared for us, he had deciphered many tablets from those that dwelt here before. Slowly he divided us, sowing seeds of mistrust, forcing us to work on isolated projects for him, telling us that Tobias had sworn slow deaths for us all and was constantly trying to invade the area. All I did was use his Grailstone on plants to make food for the armies he promised us he'd raise above ground. But when he deserted us and Tobias captured us, one of the others sold me for their own survival. I didn't know. I tell you, I didn't know. One of the experiments was on Claude to turn him into horror. It was horror when I saw what was left of him. I told them it wasn't me, but they would have none of it. They tortured me for weeks, but I wouldn't confess. Even if I hadn't been innocent, they would have had nothing from me. Eventually they tired, and before my freshly dead eyes, they broke open my head and fed my brains to a hungry Theo. Then they powdered my skull and bones and ground them into the rock of this place so that my spirit could never leave with my remains. I was so young, barely a score of years. Since then, I have awaited the one person who will believe me and give me their blessing and the name of my true tormentor. The one that cast his own crime upon my head. Perhaps God will then let me sleep at rest. Well, you have heard the truth. Do you believe me innocent? Very well. Ask away, but you had best be prepared to listen to me in turn. Very well. The gargoyle represents the monster of a man's sin. Those condemned were brought here to beg forgiveness by purging the sin with an offering of the Eucharist. But for me, it was a trick. I offered up the wafers, and just as I did so, they cut my head from my body. I was condemned to the eternal torment of being an example, they said. As for the inscription, all I know is that there is some way by which the three most senior knights could pass through the door into a shrine beyond. And now I've told you, I suppose you will leave. All I ask is that you listen to me with an open mind and help my poor cursed soul. You do? You actually believe me? Oh, thank God, thank God! But why this faith? Do you know who it was who betrayed me? Would that this were real! You dare to mock me! I'm innocent! Why should the innocent suffer while the evil laugh? What have I done, God? I can offer another way past this door, but you must find the name of the one who did this to me, else I have nothing with which to bargain. But hurry, the strain of staying visible is great, and though awareness of my death means I can somehow remember things vaguely, if I sleep again, you will have to convince me this meeting was not a dream. If I know his name, I may sleep forever at last. Wait, stranger, who are you? No matter. Whoever you are, you may not pass until you have heard me. Yes, I am dead. My name is Vincent. I was murdered falsely for crimes I had no part in. Will you hear me out with a just ear and an open mind, stranger? Find out, and I will tell you another way into the shrine that stands before you. Give me peace. Thank you, friend, thank you. Oh, tell Tobias, if you see him. But now, friend, you have ended my torment, so I will tell you of another way into that shrine. I was responsible for making the master key for it. The secrets of that lock were known only to myself and Philip, who designed it. Not even Malik knew. and I went over to his faction before completing it, so Tobias thinks it was never finished. It is hidden in the great clock in the dining hall. At last, I can rest. What? You think me a fool? It was one of Malik's followers. Tobias told me that much. Besides, who else could it be? You lying cur! That's possible. How can you be sure of this? That's possible. How can you be sure of this? What? You think me a fool? It was one of Malik's followers. Tobias told me that much. Besides, who else could it be? You lying cur! Your hesitation betrays you, liar! Why would he do that? Surely he would know you might come and tell me. Why would he do that? Surely he would know you might come and tell me. Thank you. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Tell Tobias if you see him. But now, friend, you have quietened my torment. So I will tell you of another way into the shrine. I was responsible for making the master key for it. The secrets of that lock were known only to myself and Philip, who designed it. Not even Malik knew, and I went over to his faction before completing it, so Tobias thinks it never finished. It is hidden in the great clock in the dining hall. At last, I can rest. I feel sure many years have passed since my death. The temple may well have changed much since then. I feel my advice might send you astray. Better I say nothing. I was on a spying mission for Malik once, and I saw Tobias leave the temple. He was gone for enough time to have passed a night outside. This proved to us that he has a secret store of Grail stone somewhere. He is a fawner to Tobias. He pretended disgust when I was being tortured and made a show of advising Tobias to let me die. But I did not trust him. He was about to name my true tormentor, my betrayer, but soon obeyed when Tobias suggested he remain silent. They were already here when we first entered the cave. Hellspawn, I have always thought them. I think I spoke to one, but I have lost concentration and not been here since then. The memory is so vague. I think he laughed at me. Ah, yes, Neve. She was a Pictish sacrifice that I suspect long outlived the heathen tribe that sent her down here to die. I felt so sorry for her in her innocence. If I had only known I was fated to share her doom. I know not. I sought attack Azrael once, but he managed to beat it off. He was one of the traitors that, like me, followed the false hope of Malik when we became disillusioned by Tobias. I suppose he is dead too. The dissolution of our fellowship was a tragedy, but Malik was right about one thing. Tobias is insane with his visions and vanity. A pity, though, that we couldn't see Malik was far more crazed. I feel sure many years have passed since my death. The temple may well have been changed much since then. I feel my advice could send you astray. An extraordinary fighter. He was a strange man. His religious fervor in Christian worship changed so quickly to an equally fervent worship of Malik's devil god Mal. I think life in this place destroyed everything in his mind, and all that was left to hold it together was worship. A divine manifestation that I wish would release me from this torment. He was one of the traitors that, like me, followed the false hope of Malik when we became disillusioned with Tobias. I suppose he is dead too. He was always more intelligent than the other slaves. He survived all his fellows. I think he sees himself as some kind of vizier to Tobias. They were our sister order. The extent of their treachery became clear when they made an attempt on the Grail. Before that, when news reached us of their withdrawal from sight at the time of the Templars' fall, we believed them to just be protecting themselves. No, long collapsed. He escaped this place, a place that has become hell itself, the perfect house for the devil we finally recognized him to be. What an irony. It is lower than this level of the temple. You will have to pass the ziggurat to reach it. Malik convinced us of Tobias's madness in this, but you are here, so perhaps the likes of Geoffrey and Guy were right to hold fast to him. But I doubt it. A madman with visionary powers is still a madman. He was once a great man, pure and filled with humility. He made a fitting leader for the Guardians. But then the Grail Stone changed him. His mind sucked in knowledge. We all became in awe of him, believing he would become far more than even he already was. But his pride increased with his knowledge and brought with it the kind of petty, vengeful vanity that led him to the inquisition of we poor fools that followed Malik. He was close to Malik. I suspect he may be the one that betrayed me. He was a good knight, strong enough to resist the seductive methods of persuasion employed by Malik. Not much. I was aware that there was an alchemist within the temple, but I had nothing to do with him or his experiments. There was an attempt on the Grail made by some sailors. Ewart and myself believed they would not have got as far as they did without help, but Tobias would not speak to us on the matter. He is a fawner to Tobias. He pretended disgust when I was being tortured and made a show of advising Tobias to let me die, but I did not trust him. He was about to name my true tormentor, my betrayer, but soon obeyed when Tobias suggested he remain silent to further punish me. You do? You actually believe me? Oh, thank God, thank God! Please return then, stranger, and free me of this torment. I don't know anything about this. I'm afraid I can't help. I know of no such person.